Hey everyone, good afternoon. It's Ryan from the Black Room. Happy day before 4th of July. We had a short day in the market today, and we had a lot of volatility come into the market today for a short day, but it was a good day today. We had a trade called. I had a trade called on the ZAYO today, which was good. I only had two trades today. I had that and the AYI, I believe it was, which was another pro gap up. Was it the AYI? Yeah, AYI today. And yeah, it was a good day, good start to the week. I kind of figured that it was going to be a slow week because we had the Wednesday off. Today we had a little bit of a early out today. And I talked yesterday about how I was going to try to kind of treat today like a FOMC day where I was going to look for something in the morning, specifically pro gaps, and go after that. And then towards the later in the day, I kind of figured that it would start to, the setups would kind of start to dry up. And yeah, so I was really going to go after something in the morning, which is what I did on the AYI. But I had I always love when this experience happens, and so the title of this video is when everything comes together, and what that looks like for a pattern trader, which is what I am, is that when I see a picture and it immediately stands out to me, right? When I see a picture presented in the candlesticks that immediately stands out, and I don't have to, I almost don't have to think about it. My mind goes to a place where I'm like, I've seen this pattern before. I recognize this pattern. Just about everything is in alignment here. This is exactly what I try to go after as a trader, and it's really roughly a 1 second process, the decision-making process of whether or not I'm going to take this trade. And that's what happened on the ZAYO today, which is a little bit, it's not as common in the off season. We still have like another week and a half before earnings season, and I feel like in earnings season this happens a lot because of the style of trading that I take. It happens much more often, but that did happen today on the this morning breakout trade. All right, so I had just gotten on the mic at 10:45 here, right? So, and I did a little bit of scanning, and I was just cleaning up my watch list, and I was just saying that the cues were going a little bit sideways, and I said that, we only have 2 more hours left of the day, and I really am just going to focus on something that has the opportunity for some momentum and look for an initial move, and I'm not going to go after anything that I'm going to look for more of an all-day hold because we are ending early. So I know that if I get into a trend trade, that it's going to be cut short just because of the time restraint, right? So we're running through the list, and immediately this ZAYO came up. Now I had this on the list because it was an additional gap up here, right? So if you're not familiar with this pattern, this is what I call a morning breakout pattern on a pro gap up. All right, so that's kind of the strategy that I'm looking at here. And what I wanted to do, because as soon as this came up, I instantly said, I'm going to play the ZAO. It was just before it was triggering. I think it was at 37.48, right around there. And as soon as this came up on my charts, I immediately said, I'm going to play the ZAO. And I immediately put my order in the system and put the call out in the room here. I think I took a picture of it. Let's see. Yes, I did. This was the picture of the call here. Right, long 37.50, 37.30. Target 1 was 37.80, which is what we'll talk about. And then this is where we trailed half here, just before 37.80, which it was acting a little bit wild, and I got a little bit hesitant and wanted to take some. So I think I took some a little bit early, but still, that was the first half, and which was roughly about an R, and the second half trailed out under the 5-minute bar. Okay, so that was the trade. Everything was posted in the Black Room, and I was live on the mic when we were going over this for the entry, first exit, and then the second exit came later where we trailed everything. So just wanted to take just a couple minutes here to do a brief breakdown of, because this literally happened in 1 second that I made the decision to call this, and I wanted to just take a couple minutes to break down what was going through my mind in this process, right? So I've been looking at it's been a couple years since I've been a full-time trader, and so I've been looking at a lot of charts, several thousand charts every single day, right? So when pattern recognition kicks in, I think largely that's due because of just analyzing a lot of charts. All right, so let's start with the top-down approach here. So I immediately looked at I had this on the list. I should say I had the ZAYO on the list, on my hot list, because of the professional gap up. All right, so most of the stuff on my hot list, especially towards the top of my hot list, they're already on the list because they're a pro gap. So it's something that I'm already interested in on the daily chart. Now, the ZAYO I didn't have before the open. I don't know if it gapped later or not, but when I was scanning for additional gaps, the ZAYO came up, and so I put it on the hot list. So it was initially on the hot list because it was a professional gap up. So I do use my hot list to kind of weed out things that I like on the larger time frames. All right, so when I ran through this list, I came across this, and this is what the 5-minute chart looked like, just like this. All right, so if we look at the price action, we had a big move lower here. We had a buy setup, we had a wide range bar, and base sideways, right? So we had a move lower, came up to the high of the day, and base sideways. Now, what I really like about this is how long we based for, right? Compared to this initial move lower, and then we got this wide range bar. Okay, so this had been basing for several hours here, right? So if this was almost 11 o'clock, we came up at 10 o'clock. So, so for a hour. All right, so 2/3 of the day, this has been basing towards the highs here. And the additional thing that I like is that the wide range bars, we get a base after the wide range bars. Right, so we get a wide range bar here, we base sideways, we kind of have this failure to break lower here, we get another wide range bar, and then we get 2 inside bars here. All right, so when the 5-minute moving average is catching up, I use that to look for morning breakouts, things that have been basing at the high of the day. So once more, we have the pro gap up, which is, notice the wide range bar base sideways, moving average catching up, right? Similar pattern as we saw here on the intraday. So on a bullish daily chart, and we had a pro gap up just above this base, right? Sold in the morning, tested the top of this base, ended up getting bought, and then basing at the highs. Now, at the same time, let me see if I can pull another chart over here of the Qs. Five-minute here. Okay, should be able to see this. So at the same time, coming into 10:55, the market had just gotten sold here and was basing at the lows. So the Qs are right at the low of the day here, and the ZAYO is basing at the high of the day. All right, so we have relative strength to the market, we have a professional gap up, and we have a nice 5-minute base at the high of the day, setting up for a 5-minute breakout. Now, I went a step further here in my analysis, which you can kind of see inside of this 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern. Right, so we have this wide range bar, inside bar, and then a breakout. But inside of this pattern if you notice this tail here, right, that also caught my attention. And because I have an array of multiple time frames, if you jump down to the 2 minute, we almost have this breakdown failure right here. Right, so we have this wide range bar, base sideways, another wide range bar, base sideways, and then see this 2 minute where we broke below this base here, retested where this wide range bar started from, and then immediately got bought here. All right, so this is the multiple time frame alignment that I'm really looking for. The daily chart, we have the 5 minute, we have the 2 minute. Even if we go to the 1 minute, we're probably going to see the exact same thing on the 1 minute before the breakout. Here, yeah, same thing, right? Move lower here, immediately reversed, newly rising 20 MA here, right? And then we get this breakout. If we look at the 15-minute chart here, nice consolidation here, right? We have a doji bar, wide range bar, nice base, and then we get a breakout. Okay, so this is the multiple time frame alignment that I'm really, really going after. And I think was presented very nicely in the ZAYO. So this is the pattern, and that was the process that I was looking for. And I would just encourage everybody, if you're a pattern trader and discretionary trader, the more charts you look at, the more things, the more analyzing of patterns, the more familiar I've become with the patterns. And when I see something like this, I'm immediately saying, okay, this is something that I go after. It's something that I'm very, very familiar with. Right? And honestly, there was probably 15 seconds before I said that I was going to take this, was typing the numbers into the room, and this actually triggered. So there wasn't a lot of time for me to, think about and analyze and say, sometimes there is a lot of time, but in this case, there was not. Right, so I just wanted to go over this price action. Something I also talk about quite a bit that I'll have to do another video on is, what does the price action look like at the point of transition? Right, so at the point of transitioning out of this base, continuing stage 2, what does the price action look like? And we got a wide range bar, breakdown failure, and then when we triggered higher here, which was our entry, 72.50 by 72.30 here, what was the price action? And also, if there's a failure in the price action just before the transition point, I'll use the failure as the stop. Could have used this as a stop here. Right? I don't think there's anything the matter with using the bottom of this base as a stop. But because we had this failure, that's why I was willing to use 37.30 as the stop. Because we had that 2 minute breakdown failure. We had that nice price action just before the breakout. Right? So I didn't look at the weekly chart before I called this and noticed that we did have some resistance here. We had a significant pivot here on the daily and weekly chart, right, which was 37.75 area, 37.80. And so, unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of R to R to the first target. So we ended up taking some just under 37.77, I believe, or 37.75. So we ended up taking some rate in this initial move. It started to get a little bit wild. I also had some bad ticks on my platform here, right? So some of these tails weren't real here, but as soon as we got this move up here, that's when actually it was before that. It was in this topping tail. As soon as we got this move up to 37.80, we ended up trailing some here, and then the back half, we ended up trailing 5 minute bar by bar. So we ended up trailing out the back half here. All right, so that was the second exit, and the first exit was somewhere right in here in this green bar. All right, so that was the ZAYO, and yeah, it was just this wasn't a huge trade. I think it made like an R and a half for me, right? A little bit more than an R and a half, and we didn't have really big targets on this. We didn't catch the high of the day or anything, so we ended up trailing the second half here, under 37.98. But it was a very nice trade. There wasn't a lot of going back and forth once this triggered. As you can see, we got this wide range bar, and we just started to grind higher here. So it was a very easy trade to hold through this move here. And yeah, this immediately stood out to me. So I called this, really quickly when I was on the mic, but I, wanted to go over one. I just really enjoy, when you see something that just immediately stands out to you, and you immediately put your order in, and something that, that works pretty nicely like this. It's always a enjoyable experience. I know for me as a pattern trader, where I see a pattern and I'm immediately all over it, because I think today there was only a handful of 5-6 patterns today that really worked well as far as the style of trading that I do. And luckily we saw the ZAYO, and we were able to put the numbers in, and a bunch of people in the room were able to follow along. So yeah, so this is a ideal morning breakout trade. We had relative strength, we had a professional gap up, and we had a really nice 2-minute chart, 15-minute chart. So I just wanted to point that out. If this is the kind of style of trading that you're interested in, then come check us out in the Black Room. We do this is kind of what we look to go after, and so. Thanks, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. I really hope you guys have a great 4th of July if you're in the U.S. here. And, yeah, as always, stay in process, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks, guys.